youth services are our Battle of the Bands event, and we had our first Winter Wonder Dance with the middle school kids. They're not big money makers, but they do bring in some stuff, which is what we use for supplies and snacks for group. But really what we count on is the donations. So, in terms of donations, you'll see on that chart that I got. Total amount of donations to Narissa, the nonprofit, was $11.5 over this year from the Horseshoe, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Salon 77, a couple of different places. And then specific to youth services events like Field of Palooza or the dance or the Battle of the Bands was $1,049. Some of our future goals are to reach out to the high school population. So I feel like I've got a better grasp on our middle school kids, and now it's time to really figure out what the high school kids want. And part of that is really developing this job shadow workshop that I've been meaning to really get down and dirty with since I started. And it's hard to get all of your resources together, but I have been in touch with the Linfield Business Coalition, who has their own program in Linfield. And the Rotary is going to be helping me out with that as well. So business professionals, people in all different fields, this is what I want to get our high school kids involved with, is learning what it's like to actually be in a job. What does it take? What education do you need? This is the way I'm going to reach out to the high school students. This is my plan, is they want to be leaders. They don't want to be coming on field trips and carving pumpkins. They can do that on their own time. So how do I reach out to them? So that's what we're doing. In addition to this, I'm a part of the community impact team with the police department, and the chairman is also on this team. But it comes down to understanding what it takes to take preventative measures from kids getting involved in drug use and alcohol use instead of reactive. So obviously I work with them with the diversion program, so they come to me when they have 20 to 30 hours of community service to do, and I give them the hours through the different departments in town that help me out to get some hours. But I don't really feel like I'm really reaching out to them in the way that I need to. So identifying how to do that is what myself and this team is working on. And so I've been going to a couple different trainings to figure out how to better reach out to the kids. And, in a small setting, speaking with the kids rather than in a big assembly. Just really need to be personal with them. So this is one of my goals for this year, is to work on prevention. Let's see. Some of the goals that we have with the donations that we received. The Blue Cross Blue Shield donation for $5,000 is over 2 summers. So instead of what I did last summer, which was I ran a couple of different small programs, I'm going to run a couple big programs, just a couple throughout the summer. One involving a whitewater rafting trip, getting kids to be active, but also since we have this donation, I'll be able to pay for a part of each child's trip so that it's not a lot of money and it's manageable. I believe that I can get a lot of participation that way, and also that the kids will really get a good experience out of something like this. Ocean kayaking is something that they're interested in, going on a hiking trip, being outside, and being active. What I'm working on. And a longer term goal, which is not going to happen this year unless by some grace, God, it happens. We need to figure out how to build upon a committee, and hopefully get a grant writer on board that can help us get a van, because that really increases the cost of a lot of our trips, because we have to rent a van from outside. And so even when we go on community service trips, the students are required to find transportation themselves, because I'm not allowed to drive them, obviously, myself. I'm a town employee. So, or otherwise they would have to pay to go to community service, which doesn't make much sense. So when we go to Lawrence to serve food to those in need, it's really an experience that I think more than just the kids that can make it there from their parents should experience. So. If you look at the chart, I don't have to regurgitate all the numbers that are on there, but if you're just looking at total participation throughout 2011, it was 2,141 people that attended all of our programs. And then there's a breakdown here. Our regular programs are running very well. The high school youth group is 19, middle school youth group is 35. On a regular Monday, we have about 20. So that's really grown pretty large, and the kids are doing great. Our mentoring program has grown. We have 33. And we just started our Gay Straight Alliance this year to support lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth and their straight allies, which was suggested by students and is well attended and really is starting to grow. So let's see if we have anything else. I mostly get a lot of our participation through our field trips over December break, February, April, summer activities, and the pumpkin carving and other half-day activities. That is everything to this. So I guess in all, I truly believe that youth services has been a vital department to the town of North Reading, and I think that we do a lot of hard work with all of our volunteers, and the town has helped out so much with the schools, and I just feel that everyone has really worked hard with me and not against me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
I would just like to say that I know she's doing a spectacular job. It's not easy to come through a transition as you did, but from what I can see, 'cause I'm over at Norcam as well, and so are you with the kids, she's doing a spectacular job. You know, regardless of my opinion on where youth services should fit, the program itself is a bona fide program, and it's a good program, and you're making it so, and getting all, I know some of the kids as well, and I interact with some of them, and you know, spectacular, so, thank you.
And, from, my vantage point, clearly, I haven't heard anything but accolades for your efforts. And, what I learned at our meeting the other day at the police station is that you are the bridge between the schools, the youth, and the police. And I think that's very vital for the community.
Yeah, and to do it all within the time frame you've been here, it's been pretty amazing. The connection you made with these kids and being able to be that center point for the schools, for the police, it's what you should be very proud of yourself, what you've done, and I'm very proud of this program. I'm so happy this town has stood behind this program, and I hope we will continue to keep doing that for years to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Sean?
The one thing that raises something with me is the issue regarding your van situation. We have Elder Services that has a van.
School has a couple of vans, too.
Right, is the way that, these are things that we should be collaborating on. You shouldn't have to go out and rent a van to transport students when we have vans sitting probably idly here when she's probably weekend trips. I think we can work together and reduce the cost of all these programs for the youth of the community. So I think that issue can be solved. But in terms of you and the Department of One, I've been an advocate since day one. I will continue to be. I see it as an asset for this community. It should continue. So thank you.
Any other comments?
Other than, again, I'd just like to echo everybody's comments, and again, when this whole genesis of the whole thing came about, it was a program that while I was supportive of it, I didn't think we could afford it, and it's gotten to the point now where we almost can't afford not to have it. You brought it to that point, and to be congratulated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was easy, huh? We talked about, we didn't even look at numbers.
It's amazing what we get done for so little.
It's true.
Town clerk,
Town clerk.
that's 216.
The iPad number is just slightly off.
It's one page off because of
One
the,
page,
Yeah.
it's consistent though.
Yeah.
it's a page off because of the,
Cover sheet.
Cover sheet.
Next time we'll know.
Hi, Barbara.
Good evening,
No
gentlemen.
issue.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a brief introduction, as you all know anyway, the town clerk's budget of the two departments, which are records and elections. And the various functions under both of these areas are mandated under literally hundreds of state laws. The office continues to be staffed with 3 full-time personnel, including myself, who perform all of the functions required under both of the departments, the records and elections divisions. And we are also very fortunate to have available to us 3 of the senior staff personnel that work under the program the town has. And we also have approximately 65 part-time seasonal election personnel. And we're very fortunate to have all of these people assisting us. In addition to all of the more or less known mandated responsibilities of the office, like records, elections, census, town meetings, some of our other recent accomplishments have included completion of the 2010 federal census re-precincting on the local level. We've implemented credit card transactions at our counter that are available to the public for any of the fees that we impose. There's a continuing update of the website to provide current and accurate information to the public so that they can access that at any time. And the Registry of Vital Records and Statistics has implemented an online birth registry and certification program that we have trained under and have been utilizing as well. The code book amendments continue to be maintained, and ongoing ethics and open meeting law compliance requirements, which you're all aware of. And I'm happy to say that we are taking steps now towards advancement of the townwide document management and workflow program, and I'm sure you'll hear more about that from the IT division. Other than contractual salary increases in the records budget, it's primarily the same as the current fiscal year. The increase that's indicated under advertising costs is really an election-related expense, because that's the only place advertising appears in my budget. And that is a reflection of one additional election this coming fiscal year, as opposed to the 2 that we have in this current year, the 2 scheduled elections, I should say. And a slight increase in dues for professional affiliations is, I believe those are the only records adjustments. The fiscal year 2013 budget will have 3 scheduled elections as opposed to the 2 that we currently have this year, outside of the special coming up. And as well as spring and fall town meetings. The increases under the 2013 elections budget reflect this increase in 1 additional election in all of the categories that are impacted, such as personnel, ballots, programming, police details, public works, assistance, and miscellaneous supplies needed to run the elections. The budget does not include any additional personnel or programs, and it's not for lack of need or desire, but only to meet the objectives of providing a level services budget. Some programs that we would like to consider that I've mentioned in the past are mostly software programs such as dog licensing or business certificate licensing. It would be nice to have our code book online electronically to be available to everybody. It would be a current, much more current than the information that's on there now, which is hard to maintain. And some extensive vault renovation. Those would be things that we would like to see in the future, but for now, we're just keep them on our wish list.
Just as far as putting like the code book on, you know, the zoning stuff, all those current documents, what is it would take? What would it take?
Well, it would be working with the publisher of the code book, and they would put our updates online immediately, once they're passed from town meeting action. Right now, you receive a paper update from me, usually once a year.
Right.
I try to provide that to you. So, in between town meetings, you're running with a code book that isn't current, you know. To be able to have it online, any recent legislation changes through town meeting, the code book publisher would put that online immediately so that it would show as pending to be incorporated into the entire code book in the proper place, but at least it would be reflected almost immediately. and you would have access to it, 24/7, as well as the